Hello guys, welcome back to another Starship launch reaction. Yes, it's time again. Starship test flight number 4, just about 6 minutes away. Everything's looking good so far. I'll pick up with you guys once we get closer down to that T-0.
Followed by splashdown in the Indian
Alright
Ocean.
guys, here we
That is the
go.
same target as
T-minus
we
2 minutes
had
30
on Flight
seconds.
3, so everything should look pretty similar
Let's hope
in that regard.
Starship makes the re-entry this
And
time.
we just heard the call out there that all
Be pretty
prop
cool.
mode is closed out, so at this point,
Instead of belly
there
flopping into
is
the ocean like they
10
wanted to do last time,
propellant
they're
on
actually going to
board
try
the
to
Starship, which is
soft land it in
acceptable.
the ocean using
It's
doing a flip
getting very
maneuver.
exciting.
But
We
they're not going to
are
recover
just
it though, because
about
it's
2
going to
minutes
be,
away from
all the way in the
T0.
Indian Ocean. So, but anyways, it'll be pretty cool to see if they get that far. Let's watch.
And as Jesse just said, we are under 2 minutes away. So prop load is complete. All the fill drain lines into ship and booster have closed. Right now we're doing the pushback, so clearing out all those ground lines of propellant, and that'll be completed over the next
There's
couple of
Elon
seconds.
with
We're
his
coming up
son.
on that T-minus 40 mark. Again, not planning to hold. If we do, or if we get a hold after we pass it, we can snap back to that T-minus 40, and then we can stay there for about 30 minutes or so if any other issues crop up. Once we pass T-minus 40, a lot of things happen, both on the vehicle and the ground. It's running a lot of its own self-checkouts, venting different tanks and pressure lines throughout the vehicle.
Some water before this thing launches.
Built that 40 seconds is that's about how much time it takes for the vehicle to take all of those actions, which is why we hold there. But all of that happens automated. You do a final checkout of the TVC, the thrust vector control, how we're going to steer, and then we see liftoff. So we're under a minute away.
Here we go. Here we go.
45 seconds and counting.
Good event game at.
All right, now as we close in.
Here we go. Past the 40-second mark.
40-second mark.
Yeah.
So let's listen in. Flight Director Ty Huntington's going to take us through.
Alrighty.
One more time for a Starship liftoff.
Here we go.
T-minus 15.
Oh yeah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Here we go.
5, 4.
Listen to that noise. Damn! Audio's a bit messed up, but oh well. There we go. Oh, we're missing one engine. Oh well, just one. Alrighty. Awesome.
All right, 30 seconds into flight. The rumbles are still building here in the Raptor's nest. We're seeing 32 out of 33 engines lit on the Super Heavy right now. Coming up shortly is going to be max Q, that maximum aerodynamic pressure as we go uphill on the vehicle.
Missing one. That's fine. Don't worry about it. A chance this outer ring.
All right, we just passed through max Q, so we're going to continue on up. We still have about a minute and 30 seconds until we get to stage separation. Starship now flying faster than the speed of sound.
Alrighty.
All right, so you got a couple of views. You got some ground trackers in your top camera there. You're looking down from the top of the booster in the bottom left, and then a camera in the top flap of the ship looking back in the bottom right, so getting a couple of different looks as Starship heads uphill. Once we get the hot staging, a lot of things happen all at once simultaneously. We're going to light the engines on the ship, starting with the RVACs first, and then the 3 center sea level engines before we're separated. All of that exhaust gets plumed out the side of the hot stage, and then the ship will separate itself. All but the 3 center engines on the booster are going to shut down, so the booster never stops its thrust while we go through this hot stage maneuver. After that, the booster is going to do its flip, start heading back, and then the ship will be on its own power on its way to space. So that should be coming up in just about 30 seconds from now.
All right.
As of right now, still looking in like 32 out of 33 Raptors lit on the booster. And we'll start to see those stagger down. They're going to turn off in banks, so you'll see the lights on the bottom left screen of the engines that are active start to turn off in different groups, and you'll see those 3 center ones lit.
All right, here we go.
Booster engine cut off.
Here we go.
Ship ignition.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Operation confirmed.
Boost back burn, start up.
Right, all engines on boost back burn are good.
Houston.
Starship engines are good. Awesome. This time they're gonna jettison the
Stage confirmed. Ship under
jettison
its own
the
power. Booster boosting back.
I guess
Looks like all
the
13 are lit.
hot staging
You've
ring.
got a booster
Yeah.
on the way back to the Gulf and a ship on the way to space.
Acquisition signal. Status.
Ship chamber pressures are nominal.
Ship power and telemetry nominal.
All right, the first stage currently performing the boost back burn. This is expected to last a little over 1 minute. This propels the booster back toward the coast, taking it to a landing in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see on your screen in the bottom left-hand corner, we were only using the 13 center engines from here on.
Boost back burn, shut down.
For
Awesome.
confirmation there of good boost back burn shutdown.
H2 tank pressures are nominal.
Lots of excitement.
There goes
So
the
right here
hot staging ring.
This is our view of the jettisoned hot stage. As we mentioned, this is a temporary fix to help reduce the weight of the booster. So we have the Super Heavy booster. Future iterations will have a lighter weight integrated hot stage structure that won't need to be jettisoned.
I was wondering about that. Like, how's it gonna
Now,
be fully
after
reusable if they
jettison
jettison
the
a
hot
hot staging ring? That makes
booster will
sense
begin
now.
to,
Yeah.
attempt its water landing in the Gulf. In the meantime, the ship will coast for about 40 minutes or so up to an altitude of 214 kilometers. And after its coast phase, it will attempt a controlled reentry, including a flip maneuver and a landing burn just before splashing down in the Indian Ocean. But as a reminder, we are not attempting.
Trajectory nominal.
Good news there. Trajectory is looking good for the ship, which is on the right-hand side of your screen.
Finish your thought there. Maybe not.
At this point in time, as you can see, we have no engines lit on the booster. It is coasting back toward the Gulf of Mexico for a water landing and ship under power of all 6 Raptor engines. There's 3 sea level and 3 vacuum Raptor engines that are lit, as we can see on your screen.
Yeah.
These views have been looking incredible. Super Heavy has been performing beautifully today, and you can hear the crowd is very excited about it. As a reminder for Booster, the primary goal today is to do a landing burn and a splashdown in the water. And we are just about 30 seconds away from that landing burn expecting to begin. And an incredible view from the forward.
You can see the flaps
portion of
actuating on
booster.
the
This is basically on top
right
of the
over
Super
there.
Heavy booster, where we have jettisoned that hot stage. So now we can see this incredible view of Earth as it's making its way back down to the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, the booster is using the 4 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through atmospheric re-entry.
It's an interesting view.
And we are expecting that landing burn here. And we will be igniting 13 engines, and this is a great view. On your left-hand side is 3 views from the booster, and your right-hand side a view from the ship. And you can see those grid fins on your left-hand screen rotating and turning.
landing burn
to
start.
guide
Oh,
the
landing
booster.
burn, all but one engine.
Landing burn.
Oh my god, look at that.
Again, and you can see the water below.
Oh! Holy sh... Holy!
And we have
They did it.
splashdown.
Yeah! Look at that. No, it's just gonna fall down now, yeah. Yeah!
Incredible sight.
That was awesome. Let's go.
Congratulations to the SpaceX team.
Ship has entered terminal guidance.
That was absolutely incredible. The
Expected loss
first
signal,
successful splashdown of the Super Heavy booster. Love
Yeah,
seeing it.
that was
just
pretty
tip
cool.
over into the water before losing that footage. Now the next milestone is coming up in about under a
Acquisition
minute.
signal, key west.
Ship is going to shut off its Raptor engines,
Ship engine cut off.
which we see right there.
Yeah.
As
See
we
that was
mentioned
gonna go.
before, today's test flight is not an orbital flight, but rather one that demonstrates the Starship's orbital capability. So right now we are under power with just the 3 center Raptor engines. Expecting those, and just there we could see that those
There
are
we go.
also successful.
Oh, like, wait a second. Awesome. Now it's coast phase time.
What
Awesome.
an
Nominal
incredible
orbit insertion.
Oh, there's great news there. The call out we were hoping to hear. Amazing views once again from Starship. We have our second Starship in space. These live views being brought to us by
Awesome.
Starlink, which is on board the ship. Dan, what an incredible view we have once again. So exciting. We got another ship in space.
I'm like still jumping up and down. This whole building was going absolutely insane when we saw the booster hit the water. I mean, wow. Congrats to everybody that's just been.
Alrighty, guys. Time for the coast phase. So I'll see you guys in about around 40 minutes. For you guys, it'll be a second. Alrighty, they had a loss of signal with the cameras for a little while. Elon tweeted about it, but they're back now. Apparently, like the internal cameras were working, like their internal cameras, as in like ones they can see at mission control, but or something like that, but the external ones weren't working, or something like that. But now they're working. They're back, and we're slowly heading back towards the atmosphere. So I'll catch up with you guys once we get closer to that.
Side of all the different areas.
Go.
And then
Starting to
also
see the heating
eventually
already.
to be able to see payloads once they're deployed. So
That,
a lot
here we go.
more exciting stuff
Here we
coming
go.
up in the future. But
Not spinning this
right
time.
now
We got
we're
control.
getting closer to
Woo.
re-entry.
It's getting
We're gonna be
warm
moving
already.
at hypersonic speeds of more than 5 times the speed of sound. We're going to see that plasma
I'll make
start
it
to
through,
build.
make it through.
So, Kate, Jesse, excitement coming up.
Yeah, as you can see with
Amazing
that
views.
view on
Holy
your screen
crap.
again, high def brought to us by Starlink. We can see the plasma beginning to build as the ship is getting closer to the Earth's atmosphere. Now, let's talk a little bit about how Starship will survive re-entry, hopefully, and control itself.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Come on.
We've been talking about this.
Oh,
this
look at
entire
it go.
flight
It's starting
test.
to beat up.
There's
Oh my gosh.
18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles surrounding the bottom portion or the Earth-facing side of the ship.
Through 100 kilometers altitude, good attitude for entry.
Here we go.
Great call outs there. Now, during atmospheric reentry, the vehicle is going to see temperatures as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit or over 1,400 degrees Celsius. So those tiles are there to help protect the vehicle from this extreme heat.
Yeah, and the flaps will help control it. Now, one noticeable difference I see immediately, those flaps are not moving as much as they were on Flight 3. So that is a great sign, right? We had unplanned loss of roll control on Flight 3, so we added some additional thrusters, and we can see that they're working well, and we have a much more stable view. So those flaps, there's 4 of them, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. They're made out of stainless steel, and yeah, they help steer the ship, which, as we can see, the plasma continuing to build. Now, if the ship survives re-entry, it will have to perform a flip maneuver, as well as a landing burn. We saw this demonstrated
very slowly.
in a couple of high altitude
flap,
flight
at
tests
least.
back in like 2020, 2021.
But the camera's on, so that's why you see it kind of
Temperatures
like
increasing on the
moving.
nose within expected ranges.
Great news there. It sounds like the temperatures that we are getting during this point, which again, we usually don't get during spaceflight because of this plasma. We're getting this live. This is a great news. So similarly to, for example, the serial number 10 test that we saw a couple years ago, we're hoping to duplicate that again today. Hopefully we will see it live. And basically the 3 center engines of the ship will reignite and gimbal or point to help flip the ship until those engines are pointing down so that it can land vertically using Raptor's thrust.
And as you can see, even from the beginning of the program, we've designed Starship to land on Mars where there are no runways or other humans to help out. We also want rapid reusability, so we're doing...
The vehicle is passing through 85 kilometers altitude. The flaps have control of the vehicle.
Great news. Flaps have control of the vehicle. That's exactly what we want to hear for this flight test.
Yeah.
Again, we are going to be doing a propulsive landing instead of a more traditional means like parachutes. And we are expecting re-entry to begin here in just about a minute. Re-entry.
That's a pretty cool view right there.
Awesome view that we have here.
Starship remains on a good entry trajectory.
This is the same view that we had when we first returned from the coast phase. Again, this is looking at the side of one of the flaps. It's incredible that literally at the bottom of this picture, we're basically looking through plasma, which is just absolutely mind-blowing.
Wild, very wild. Now we are expecting entry to begin here in about 30 seconds or so. Entry to splashdown is expected to last about 6 minutes long. And that flip maneuver should occur around about 10 minutes before splashdown. And such incredible views that we're getting.
Approaching peak heating region.
Venting over there by the skirt.
Great call outs there.
Yeah, these views are absolutely
crazy
astounding.
Temperatures continue to rise within expected region.
And in your bottom right-hand corner, you can also follow along with the altitude.
That little plasma ball down there.
As it's returning back to Earth.
Curving around the flap right there. That's pretty cool.
So once again, this view is basically looking down into the plasma blanket that is building up around.
Seeing that speed start to drop faster and faster now.
Exterior of Starship.
As that material starts to get thicker.
As you can see on your screen, you can look in the bottom right-hand corner and see how fast it's going, how high it is, as well as the general orientation. Again, we're seeing a lot more stability, a lot more control here on this flight, which is great. It shows that the iterations, the learning.
Starship is now in expected peak heating region.
Peak heating. Oh, here we go. If it survives the next minute here, we're probably good.
This is basically the hottest point that Starship should get during its re-entry. Now, the heat shield is working with the atmosphere for some like free braking, okay? The atmosphere is helping to slow the Starship down.
Yeah, exactly. We're not using any engines or thrust to slow the vehicle down. Exactly what Kate mentioned. We're just using the atmosphere and those heat shield tiles protecting the vehicle as it's coming through that high heat temperature.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, this is another one of those moments that we have been waiting for. Right now, the ship is currently re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, and by all looks and all call-outs that we're hearing on the net, it is doing pretty well. Now, we do not plan to
look at that. That looks crazy.
Today, but rapid and reusable,
wow.
Rapid and reliable reusability is the ultimate goal.
Whoa, look at that.
And just pausing to just take in this incredible new and different view that we're seeing. We did get a similar view in Flight 3, but again, the vehicle did lose a little bit of its control, attitude control, and this is a very stable view. This is great. This is exactly what we want, and we are hearing that we're getting expected call-outs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Starship is seeing half a G of acceleration, remains on a good entry trajectory.
You know, it's incredible to look at this photo and wonder, wait, is it real? Is it frozen? You know, we can see so I was just going to say,
those temperatures have stopped increasing.
It does that. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that is great news. The temperature is no longer building.
Yep, cool.
But I was saying, like, we have a little bit of indication there. We can see that streaking occurs and tells us that this is indeed
You see that little
a
spark?
true view.
Look at those
So
little
once again,
sparks.
we are looking basically through the plasma that is building up through, or excuse me, around the exterior of the ship.
And I still cannot get over that we are getting a live view of re-entry right now, live on your screen. Again, we've said this over and over, but all
Amazing.
thanks to Starlink. We are able to use Starlink in space, which we're getting this incredible data. And not only just the data from the sensors, but getting live imagery of what is actually happening, which is great, which we've never been able to do live before.
Right. Now, just a quick future outlook here. So in about,
It's a little sparks
let's
flying.
see, at T plus about 1 hour and 2 minutes, we should
A
hear
non-issue.
A call out for entry transonic. That means that the ship is going near the speed of sound. And then about a minute after that, we'll hear another call out saying entry subsonic, meaning
Crazy looking.
that the ship is going below the speed of sound. So these are all continued indications that the atmosphere, right, as the ship comes back down, it is getting through the more dense part of the atmosphere, and that atmosphere
I don't know
is
what to say
helping
anyways.
to push
It's
against
just
the vehicle,
awesome. Look at that.
and those heat shields are protecting the vehicle during this high heat period.
Yeah, Kate and Jesse, we're starting to see as the atmosphere gets denser, you're starting to see a few more particles make an appearance in the plasma there. You can see you're looking down at the aft end of the ship in the top left, and you're seeing essentially the flame build up as we go through reentry. You've been hearing the call outs, they're tracking things like temperatures in the nose cone, and those were right where we modeled them to be, which is really cool to see and to see in real time. But we're coming up, we're at about 67 kilometers in altitude. Our last signal with the ship on Flight 3 was at 65, so we should be making it past that point shortly. Obviously, as you guys pointed out, we're in a much better control this time as we re-entered in the right attitude, and our flaps have been steering the way so far. Once we get through transonic, that's when you've got essentially
for Raptor landing bird.
Different areas around the vehicle where the air is either moving faster or slower than the speed of sound. We'll eventually get to subsonic, which we have some experience with. We did in our suborbital campaign.
Start of Raptor chill.
And Starship will eventually get down to its terminal velocity as it's floating down to the water. That's just about 200 miles an hour or so. We are hearing that we're starting to chill some of the engines as we are, if we make it all the way down to the water, still going to attempt a landing burn, but still a ways to go. We're at about 64 kilometers in altitude right now. We made it through what's expected to be the peak heating, but now we're going to start encountering increased pressures as the atmosphere gets thicker and thicker.
Barking like crazy.
So 63 kilometers, so we've already made it farther than we did on our last flight when that last signal was coming at 65 kilometers. So again, what we're really looking at here is the performance of the heat shield, of the flaps, of the seals and the flaps. There's just a whole bunch of different areas that we're keeping a really close eye on as we re-enter.
Is it moving a little?
Starship remains on a good entry trajectory.
Wow.
And looking like we're still on a good trajectory. If you're seeing little camera moves, that's the flap moving as it continues to maintain the attitude of the vehicle as it re-enters. And I mean, not just camera views, but we've got sensors inside the ship. We've got those sensors down at the very aft end
better than any
of the
fireworks show we
vehicle,
ever see.
where we pointed out we had some intentionally missing tiles, where we've got some sensors looking at just how hot it's getting around there. We intentionally put those in essentially the least critical part of the heat shield, where if you had any kind of a breach, it wouldn't be great for reusability, but wouldn't be critical for actual making it through the reentry into the landing. 58 kilometers. We're continuing to descend. Again, right now we are over the Indian Ocean. We're actually getting closer and closer to that expected splashdown point, which is just to the
Holy crap.
off the northwest corner of Australia.
Wow. It's getting really nuts looking. Holy crap.
If you keep an eye on our speed, the speed is dropping. We're hitting the thicker part of the atmosphere now. The speed's going to start dropping precipitously.
Crazy.
We're going to
Starlink
start
lets us
getting
see this.
to
Wow.
transonic pretty soon, and then after that we'll get into subsonic, where we're moving less than the speed of sound. But wow, what a light show so far!
Like I got some heat on the. Oh, is it burning through the flap there? Might be burning through a flap.
External temperatures are starting to come down.
Again, this camera view is looking right at one of
The inside of that
forward
flap is
flaps.
getting pretty hot. Like it's burning a little bit.
And we're strategically putting some cameras
They're
around
flying
the
off of
vehicle
it.
to just look at the
Oh,
different areas.
oh, we got tiles coming off.
that-
Holy crap.
looks like we got the flap starting to come apart a little.
This might be the end.
Yeah, it does appear that we have a little bit of burn through there. We can see pieces of the vehicle
Just gotta
flying
do some
off. What a
better
show
heat
it
shields
has been.
for that
It's been
part.
like watching
Look at
Interstellar
that.
or something.
This is wild to see this.
Wow.
But the ship is still coming down, which is incredible.
Oh!
How far can it go? That is the question.
Keep your eye on the altitude.
The
in
heat shield is
bottom
melt-
right-hand corner. We're at
the
54
flap is melting.
kilometers right now.
Holy crap.
Now, ultimately, the data is the payload today. We've
Oh,
been saying it multiple times.
big-
We're
gonna see a
our
big
teams
clunk
are
here.
sitting, reviewing this data live, learning
Woohoo.
where the hot spots are. As you can see, there's an obvious hot spot there with the flap, and learning how we can improve this
The
design.
camera's a
What
bit
was to
covered
get
in,
as far through
ash,
this high,
debris.
this high heat re-entry as possible. Ideally, we'd love to make it all the way down and perform that landing burn and flip maneuver, but we may not get that far today. We will see.
Again, this is a test.
Doesn't seem to be
And we are
spinning out of
gathering as
control
much
yet
data
from
as
that damage.
possible, visual data.
Can't see what
as
the damage
well,
is
which you
right
can see
now.
there. We are getting a lot of debris covering the camera on your screen, but we can still see some of those sparks and flames from that high heat as ship is
Need
making
to see
its way
the
back
other
down to Earth.
angle.
Ship now at 50 kilometers and closing. The good news is we still got, looks like that camera lens just cracked.
Oh.
It's safe to say ship's getting a little beat up, but that's to be expected on a test flight. We are still learning how to improve the ship for
Okay.
total survival and
Lens
recovery of the high heat reentry.
I'm honestly impressed that we're still
Still
getting
alive,
this
though.
live view despite how much debris is coming off of this flap right now.
The fact
Oh.
that we've got it is good news.
Oh, there it goes. You jinxed it.
And
They jinxed
I
it.
may have jinxed it. I apologize. Look at that.
Oh, it's back.
It's
It's back. Woo!
And the teams here at SpaceX are excited.
Was that a troll? Are they trolling us there? What was that?
There's still a sizable crowd here at Mission Control Center Hawthorne.
A splashdown is expected in just about 4 minutes from now. And we're still moving. We still have live views. Starlink is
Vehicle
doing
is
an incredible
approaching
job.
maximum entry dynamic pressure. External temperatures are dropping.
I can see.
Okay, good news. Those external pressures are dropping.
I can
The
kind of
question
see
is,
where that hole, that flap
how
is down
much
there.
of the
It
ship
looks
is
like, I
left?
think.
We can't really tell. We can still see some of that particulate coming off. And unfortunately, we do have a cracked camera lens. But for any photographers out there,
What about the other
and,
camera? Is that still good?
videographers,
Is that still
we
good?
know that's part of the gig sometimes.
Yeah, and you can see that the speed is rapidly slowing down. That's actually really great news for us. We want the vehicle to be slowing down before it
Wonder what the
splashes
flap
down
looks
into
like
the
right
ocean.
now.
That
How
will
messed
help
up is
set
it?
us up for
Can
that
it
flip
still
maneuver,
actuate?
engines first down into the water.
Exactly. So we have seen this flip maneuver
If it starts
demonstrated
actuating,
on
will it
previous high
fall off?
altitude flight
That's
tests.
gonna happen.
serial number 8. Oh, more views.
Oh.
Or excuse, I should say, more light coming through the view that we have through that cracked and dirtied lens there. But
flap
yeah,
still
so
looks
we're
pretty high
hoping
down there.
that this flip maneuver that we can pull it off.
goes signal.
As soon as we get those views back, if we can get them, if the ship is still around, we will bring it
Vehicle
back
has
to you.
passed maximum dynamic pressure.
Still got
That is great
telemetry
news.
data, so
Maximum dynamic pressure
still
being
alive,
the
we just don't have
moment at which
signal.
the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure. Speed still dropping. We're now at 37 kilometers above the ocean. Just like Flight 3, we are targeting a splashdown in the water in the Indian Ocean.
And we don't have a live view right now, but because we're still getting data and telemetry, that does tell us that ship is still doing okay, at least. And there we got that live view back. The crowd very excited to see that view, despite not being able to see very much.
The fact that it's there tells us the ship is still alive.
Yes, and
for now.
collecting data, continuing to collect data as we get closer and closer to Earth.
Yes, now 30 kilometers, now 29 above the Indian
Starship is
Ocean.
at 30 kilometers altitude, Mach 2.
Okay, we're getting a
Sounds
little
like
bit of a
vehicles
tilt, it looks like in the
traveling, as we just
telemetry.
heard, Mach 2, which is
Going a
looks
bit
like
flat
we
now.
Might. I thought maybe it might clear up. It is a little bit.
Might be spinning now.
Now at T
It
plus
might
1
be
hour,
spinning now.
3 minutes and 13 seconds into Starship Flight 4, hoping that the ship can hang on. It's probably potentially hanging on by a couple of bolts and threads, but it's still going.
Oh,
And
it's
that is
correcting
excellent
itself a
news.
little bit.
That deceleration is
All right.
looking incredible. We're about to go under 1,000
Still
kilometers
pointing a
per
hit
hour.
bit down.
Yeah.
Aerodynamics on it
Starship
are a
at 20
bit messed
kilometers
up.
altitude.
Now, keep in mind that even though we can't see anything, the data itself is what we really are.
Starship is subsonic.
Subsonic. They're telling us it's traveling below the speed of sound.
It's flattening out. Oh, never mind. Actually, it might be flattening out.
Movement means the flaps
Oh,
are actuating.
the flap is alive! The flap is alive! Look at that! The flap is alive!
This is a nail biter.
Holy
But
crap.
we are, unfortunately, we can't see through the lens, but we're still getting the feed. Starship is now.
Might be a hole in
11
the bottom
kilometers over
corner of that
ocean.
flap, but it
All this
seems to
data
be
is
kind of
incredibly
working.
important. Even if, you know, it breaks
Still
up right
working.
now. Okay, we can see that flap actuating through the
It's alive! It's got a big hole in it, but it's alive!
Starship is passing
It's
through.
missing a chunk, but it's alive! Wow.
Okay, the next milestone will be initiation.
Wow, look at that
of
big
the
hole
flip
in it.
Maneuver and landing burn. Keep
That's
an eye
crazy.
on the bottom right corner of your screen. For
let's
those
see how-
three
let's see the
center
belly
engines
flop, come
to
on.
relight. They will gimbal or angle
See the flip.
so that the ship flips itself back up vertical and hopefully lands in a
5
vertical
kilometers, 4
position.
kilometers. Here we go.
And the
Let's
crowd is
see
very
this
excited
attempt.
to get this view of that flap still
Starship is
maneuvering.
passing through 5 kilometers altitude.
Ooh. Signal's
This
going a bit
is
wonky.
incredible. We're getting very close to splashdown.
These
Right, 2
fireflies
kilometers.
are such a good sign of life right now. We wish we could see more, but we'll take it.
1 kilometer. Let's see if we can see if it does the flip.
Starship at 2 kilometers altitude, terminal velocity.
Is it gonna do it? 0 kilometers? I don't think it's gonna flip.
Landing burn startup for Starship.
Oh,
All right,
It's
good
doing
news
it.
there.
I don't see the engines lighting, but on the telemetry, but it looks like it's actually working. Oh my god.
Nominal chamber pressure.
Landing bird startup.
It actually did a landing burn. Didn't show the engines on the thing, but it did it. It landed in the ocean. It's landing in the ocean.
Landing burn shutdown.
Oh my god. It landed in the ocean.
The landing bird shutdown was commanded.
Oh crap.
Wow. I mean, it was a little bit of use your imagination as you were going down with what we could actually see, but we were
I
able
can't
to
believe it
hear
survived
as
that.
the ship
I
did
can't
its
believe it did
landing
it.
burn. It sounded like
Starship
we
landing
might
burn
have got
shutdown.
2 engines.
That's
There's the final call for landing burn shutdown, but we'll go back through all
crazy.
the data, but we did get
The flap had a
confirmation
big hole in it,
that
but
a
it,
landing
it
burn
managed
took
to
place.
land.
Starship made it through re-entry
Holy.
and did its first ever landing burn.
That's crazy.
From St.
Oh
Francis
my,
to the other
making me
side of
cough.
Garrett, Starship is in the water.
Wow. Look at this guy, he's like, holy crap.
What a day,
That actually
guys.
happened?
Yeah. That was absolutely incredible.
My eyes are watering up a little bit from that, wow.
We got views pretty
That's
much
insane.
the whole way down. Analysis
Wow.
said it could do it. We weren't sure if it was going to be able to happen, but Starlink powered through, and we were able to get signal. We started to get some debris on the cameras and everything, but we were able to see it. So, I mean, what a day!
This guy's mind is blown.
Just recapping, everything started off today. We lifted
Like
off
mine.
from here in Starbase
Wow.
just about an hour ago. It feels like a lifetime. Successful Super Heavy ascent, boost back, and its own splashdown in the Gulf. Ship
What an
made it
amazing
to
test.
space, kept its attitude. Successful re-entry through peak heating. We got to see it under flap control through the atmosphere, and we got called up for our first ever ship landing burn after a launch into space. So, just really incredible. So I'm going to take some time to collect myself, but that was incredible. I can't wait for the next one. Over to you guys.
It was so loud here. I haven't heard the crowd get that loud probably since liftoff of Flight 1.
Alright. That's it for today, guys. I can't wait until the next one. That was pretty cool. Maybe next time we'll see something. Maybe we'll see a catch or an actual landing attempt on the chopsticks with the Super Heavy booster, maybe. Now that we've had a successful splash and all that. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with the ship next time. Maybe actually bring a experimental payload or something. Maybe some Starlinks as a test, or dummy payload, something like that. Do a full orbital flight test, rather than it's kind of like semi-orbital. Not like a suborbital, but technically it is. But anyways, we'll see what they do next. Looks like they're roasting some marshmallows with their with their Starship torches. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.